our role for contributing to the flourishing of society as we serve within institutions that convey greater meaning to the subsequent generations that come?
I think Dr. Hunter and I are probably in a very different place in answering that question. Yeah, we're in a very different place in just speaking. He's at the University of Virginia. I am at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. You may note we have linkages, we have some shared history, but we are not the same thing. And I do not believe that an overly ambitious plan for a Christian reconquest of existing institutions is very plausible. I think the danger is, number one, that we'll spend our energy there and lose our own children, or two, that we will redefine what victory looks like and be very settled with something like Victorian religiosity and a veneer, or slowing a collapse slightly, as if that's that's a final victory. It's not, of course. So I hope I'm making sense, but I think Christians have to create parallel institutions. So I'm working every day with people who are in orphan care who are being pushed out of the business if they won't buy entirely into the LGBTQ revolution. I had to deal an hour before I talked with you with a Christian university under sustained attack simply because it holds to a biblical understanding of sexuality. And they're being told, look, you're not going to be able to do this without the active opposition of the state. So let me ask this: how overtly Christian? Yeah, so I'm not speaking of Professor Hunter himself or of others of I'll say our generation. I'll put myself with his generation. I want to speak of 20 or 30 somethings. Those who are looking for jobs, say, at a place like the University of Virginia. How outspokenly Christian can they be? Or even, just under duress, acknowledge that they hold to a Christian understanding of sexuality issues and gender and all the rest. What's the hope any of them could get hired? I think the honest answer is very little. I think we know that. So, I'm very, very suspicious of claims of a Christian reconquest of the institution. Right. I just don't see any model in history in which that was meaningfully done in the modern age.
Do you think, though, creating parallel institutions is, is that completely feasible, number one? Or how do we most people just can't do that. They can't find other institutions. They go to their job. They have to work within it. They have to ask themselves, how do I contribute and show Jesus in the middle of this? We're not following Rod Dreyer's idea of the Benedict option and just completely withdrawing from society. So how do we then influence society?
Rod Dreher didn't completely withdraw from society either.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
His book was published by a major American publishing house. So, so in other words, but he's making a serious point. And, just to answer your serious question, I think, nearly every week I'm contacted by someone in the military saying, I am really coming very close to a point at which I will have to violate Christian conviction to remain in uniform. American corporations and others very much involved in this. And I'm not making a blanket statement. I can't tell everyone when that point comes. I have met with CEOs of Fortune 500 companies and to talk about these issues. And I've been told, basically, they're on the winning side, I'm on the losing side. And their employees are pretty much aware of the same thing. I think there are entire professions, Travis, that Christians are going to get kicked out of in fairly short order. I have, professors of pediatrics in medical schools telling me, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for Christian young people to become pediatricians, given the direction of the pediatric profession and what is now being defined as standards of care on gender questions and all the rest. And, in some medical schools, not so far as I know in the United States at this point, but elsewhere in the English-speaking world, medical school applicants are being asked if they'd be willing to perform abortions. And the policies of some of these schools is, if not, then this is not an acceptable answer for someone who's going to be a medical professional. And I know at least one province in Canada that's become a live issue. So all I'm saying is we're not living in 1942 anymore.
Right.
We're not even living in 1992 anymore. I became president of this institution in 1993. I took office when Bill Clinton took office. And that's a world ago.
Yeah.
I want to prepare students for the world they're going to have to face. And look, I think that means for Christians in the United States, a whole lot of professions we're not going to be in. And I think that's a new thing. I think that's a very new thing. I think the great threat is to the middle class existence of confessional Christianity in the United States. I'm not sure we're going to have much of a middle class existence.